What's good, everyone? It's your homie Sneaks right here, bringing you another video. Now, right today, I'm going to touch on a certain topic. It's been kind of trending around some Rasta channels, but the one who brought this up, I don't know if he was the one who brought it up, but the one that talked about it, the one that kind of got this attention on certain channels and this sort of topic, and this from the artist Stupid Young out of Long Beach, California. And him, and I'm pretty sure it was somebody else as well, right there on China Mac channel, talking about a certain situation or an issue that took place a certain amount of years ago, right here in the southern part of California between the Asians and the Mexicans. Now, since I live over here in Del Monte, California, I was around all that sort of mix. So, out of my experience, from what I experienced out of that, and I'll give my reasons of why I even want to touch this sort of topic. I'm not going to mention no hoods. I'm not going to mention all the details, but at least certain things to kind of open your mind up a little bit about what happened around in that sort of time frame, in that sort of era, especially because I was around this sort of mix. All right, like I mentioned, I stay in the city of El Monte, California. At a certain high school that I attended to, but like only like until like my sophomore year until I got kicked out of there, right? Right now at the moment, I'm 39 years old. I was supposed to graduate on 2002, just to give you that sort of time frame and just so you can know because they mentioned that sort of time frame when they said that the agents had a green light on them, which is around that sort of time frame when I was at this sort of high school. Being that said, right? Now I don't know if this took place anywhere else, if this sort of situations happened in other schools or it started in the streets somewhere else, or don't know how this whole situation started. But I could tell you in the high school that I attended at that time, me being I don't know if it was a freshman or sophomore on that year, but like I said, I got kicked out of my sophomore year, so it had to be before that for sure. But there was a certain situation that took place on this high school. Excuse me. And what that was there happened to be a riot. Now, I'm not gonna get all details with this. I'm not gonna say the school's name for those that know, and for those that were there, that were there. And if you want to get your input, if you see this video, by all means, so you can shed a light on this, to see if I'm telling the truth or not. Now, in this high school, in this point in time, yeah, I was bald. I was kicking it with a few homies, right? That was into that sort of street mix as well. You know, I wasn't into the street mix, but I was in the mix with the homies. So I was chilling in that sort of area with the homies would chill. Now in this sort of high school, I don't know how it is now, but you have sort of groups. You got your skaters, you got your gangsters, you got your jocks, you got this and that, right? So in this high school has several have I won't say there were different people from different neighborhoods. Put it like that, right? So you have one neighborhood here, you have one neighborhood here. Several cats, if they were from out of different hoods, if they were cool with the table that I was at, they would kick it with us. If they were cool with the other hood that was there at that time, then they'll kick it with them. You know. So there was a word going around this particular day that something was going to go down around lunchtime. And while the word was going around, and like I'm saying, this is all speculation. I'm not saying this is what actually happened. This is at least the reason at that point in time of for the reason why the situation happened. There was a rumor that going around that I don't know if it was one or several, whatever the case may be, but several Asians or an Asian dude uh, just disrespected the Mexican flag. Where, how, I don't recall, but that was just the story going around. So that being said, the homies wanted to do something about it. So talks were going out, about several individuals about what's gonna occur, what's gonna happen, and blah blah blah. I'm pretty sure the school staffing and all the security kind of figured it out, but they didn't think it was something was actually gonna happen because they were out and about in their walkie talkies and all that sort of thing, right? But this sort of day, it felt different. You could feel it in the air when you could feel some sort of tension or something is about to go down that you especially know. It's like it's gonna happen. How, who, what, or how it might begin, don't know, but something's gonna take place. And this day at this lunch, It was like normal, but something was different. And this is one thing that caught at least my attention. Like I'm saying, we got word and we knew what was gonna happen. But what stood out to me on this day was the fact that, like I'm saying, in this sort of high school, they had different hoods and all this sort of thing, right? So eventually, stuff will crack between this hood and that hood, or whatever the case may be. Fights after school, during lunch, whatever the case. But they always will get into the mix. If they bump heads or they cross paths, something's bound to happen. But in this typical day, the hood, the hoods, or even people that I know, like, hey, well, the homies don't get along with. Obviously they don't gotta be around this sort of area, but they were like chilling, kind of close, not close to it, not like right next to us, but they were like a little bit towards like I want to say like more than like 20 feet, right? But our focus, all our intentions was at this one group, and we got the word, and everybody's going around, you know what I mean, saying like once that either that bell rings, we got to something's gonna happen either before the bell or at the bell. But once it happened, everybody, like I'm saying, the table where I was at, people were not even gangbangers, just what do you call it, normal people, what you call them, residents, right? Call me a resident. I was there, but what do you call it, the other hoods too, everybody just got into it. Not everybody got into it with each other, but with that sort of group, which is the Asians. And for sure they were outnumbered, bro. So all you hear was thumping and banging against the wall and all this sort of thing, right? So a little riot happened right there. But a long story short, so from then on, that's when I started to notice what do you call it? Just Asians coming after school, or even like when we were going around like different areas. You know what I mean? After that sort of incident, things just took a turn in something that I didn't experience. Of course, there's hoods in the city where I live and in the Monte. Much respect to all the homies out here. You know what I mean? Doing your thing, grinding and doing what you do, homie. Con todo respeto. You know what I mean? And that's the first time ever. Besides like the Chicano hoods that I was so used to seeing, so used to being hit up on here and there every so often, you know what I mean? Because there's several hoods right here in El Monte. But what do you call it? The cats from the Asian cats were coming around in their rides and everything like that. And this is the first time I ever had experienced the Asian type of hoods, the different types of cliques that they had in their sort of group, in their sort of race. I'm not gonna speak on which ones, you know what I mean? Because it was just several ones afterwards. I was like, oh, so these people are this, these people are that. Where did they stay at? And sure enough, come to find out, we're not that far away. But the point we're trying to get at is after that sort of riot happened, everything, at least at that point in time in that era, at least from what I was seeing, kind of was changing in a way where I was not seeing that much of the raza fighting against each other. Everybody was trying to like at least be cool with each other in certain ways and handle their business because of a certain situation that took place. Now you got these other cats coming down over here and trying to do what they got to do. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure they got the word from their people, so they're trying to handle their business and you know what I mean, and do their sort of work when they're however they could, however they can. So in this sort of time frame, I was rapping, well, trying to rap. I had no studio at the time. I knew nobody with studio, nothing like that at this time. So around this time, there were these. This is what we were passing now. Well, me, cassettes, whoever could remember these, all right? Hopefully this is not being too old. But as you can see, look at, check this out. Taste a Creeper. I used to go by the name of Creeper, all right? And this is another homie at that time who I was rapping with called Little Speedy. Even still have like our cell phone numbers right here, old ass cell phones. Maybe I should call and see who answers. But the thing is, at that point in time, we were passing these out, just trying to be known. You know what I mean? And if you want to get a story behind these and how I was recording these and what record labels I send these to try to get a signed record deal, you can look it up on one of the videos. I'll put the link down in the description because I also talk about that on another short story. But the reason why I bring this up too was around that time frame because the homie who I was rapping with would talk about that or rap about these sort of situations that would took place with these other groups. I don't can't recall if I said anything like that because my thing was just rap. Talking about live struggle, street shit that I know about. I knew for doing some songs, if I tend to do some certain songs to a certain group, I don't want to hear the backlash of that. You know what I mean? Like I see that kind of affecting me if I want to take my sort of rapping career serious, and I don't want to be hated by a certain amount of group over something. But I can't really say it or not. Like if I was in even some of the songs with them, because I haven't even heard this tape for years. I just have it from memories. But speaking about that issue, this was around that time. So for us going out, me and the homie trying to promote our shit, just passing out tapes and this and that, we had to deal with that. Going to sort of other sections that was dominantly more Asians or Vietnamese or so on, and because that situation was going on, drama happened. Whether we didn't bring it to us, drama came to us, or when we went to our neck of the woods thinking it's all gonna be cool, then we see these these fools right up, they're rising looking for drama. So there was win and loss, I'm pretty sure on both ends, on some occasions and on some levels. Depending on the situation and how it all went down. Because I recall several times I could feel like, yeah, we we got these dudes, we got that win. Several times that I was like, fuck, these was caught us out of nowhere. They got that win. It was just a different it was just a different experience for me because I was so uh dealing with the raza at that time, like like our people just fighting amongst each other. This sort of time when our raza came together, and it was different from what I seen, and it pushed me to write music a certain way. And not only that, but from that situation there was several certain songs that I have written that don't really talk about that in depth, but was about that sort of situations. Like the mixtape pre-prepared. Me trying to unite the Ras in certain ways because I'm like, if I'm rapping, I'm gonna switch it up and try to unite the Ras in a certain way because I like that togetherness. I like that just that bond that we all had. Excuse me, around that sort of time. You know. So the reason why I brought this sort of thing is because it brought me good memories, even some trippy memories. I won't say bad memories because we learn from the bad, right? I got some experience off of it. But it also comes to show around that time, it was not just homies that were gangbangers that went out and did these sort of things, you know what I mean? Like to like have homies backs or do something if those fools came down and do something to us, we're gonna go retaliate. So it's not always gangbangers, just to put that out there. There were several cats that I rolled with around that time that were active, and I rolled with homies around that time that were not active. Like me, I wasn't active. I'm not an active person like that. You know what I mean? Even if I was, I wouldn't be doing that no more. I've grown and music's been my therapy. I let so much out. I've grown in so many ways. My mind process and the way I think is totally different. But just wanted to bring that up to show that sort of my experience when it came around that time, around the Asians fighting against the Mexicans. But it's not just Mexicans. I'm pretty sure it's not just Asians. Like I said, there's Vietnamese, Philippines, Koreans, maybe. So it's not just Mexicans. Mexicans, Guatemaltecos, Colombians, maybe Puerto Ricans. We have so many mix around here. You know, we have blacks as well. I remember some blacks that even went to the high school, but it was nothing like that. It was all respect and it was all love. You're gonna have your several individuals that will take it a different route or have that sort of, I won't say hatred, but that sort of street mind, because they probably have family or friends that been locked up, hear all these stories, so they'll they'll tend to think a certain way and be a certain way. But by the majority of it, it was always love, it was always respect here on now. Only if you were active and you're being someone that you're not, or doing someone dirty, not going by your word, then it gets real. The homies will get at you. But that was just my experience. I want to talk about that. I got nothing against Stupid Young from anything that he says. I don't think he was talking bad about the raza, but just want to give you my experience around that. Much love to the homie Young. Much love to anybody out there who's rapping. Much love to all the raza who's trying to come up. You know what I mean? Hopefully the door opens. Hopefully get that hit. Hopefully get that banger. I'm here. I still do music. And if you guys want to check out my music, go ahead and feel free to do so. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you can rock with it. If you don't, hey, I take a constructive criticism any day, man. You know? So this will do the video. Hopefully you are doing well. Until the next one, I'm trying to do more of this, all right? So hopefully I thank all of you who stayed by me, who showed me that love and support and been with me since day one. You know, it's I'm not gonna give up music, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, I want to be behind the scenes and trying to do a little bit more of this. Give you a little bit more stories and from my experiences and from what I know, and maybe come together as far as Rasa as well, because I'm one that wants to bring the people together if possible, you know. So, órale, gente, much love and keep grinding, all right? A ratos.